You know, it's funny because this is one of those things that's come up and now everybody's talking about it on social media. And it's one of the things that I feel like maybe I shouldn't even talk about considering, it's rumor and, let's wait and see what happens. But I thought that, since I have the channel, maybe go ahead and talk about it. And it's not even something that Microsoft said or did this time. It's just one of those things where rumors come up. And so next thing you know, everybody's kind of talking about it, in a negative light. Of course, any chance that people get to talk about Xbox, going third party or giving their exclusives away, people kind of freak out about it and people talk about it. Again, I've often stated this, considering the amount of hate that Xbox exclusives get, it is pretty crazy and pretty unbelievable the amount of people that want those games when these type of rumors come up. I mean, people start port begging like crazy, and it's just kind of funny and ironic to see. Like they hate the game, they hate Xbox, but then when something's rumored like this, they go, well, it's please let it be this game or please let it be that game, and it's just funny and hypocritical all at the same time. So yeah, this was definitely one of those things where I felt like I wanted to get out ahead of it and do a video on it and just give my two thoughts about what I think. First of all, I think that everybody should take a chill pill, relax. We have zero clue on if this is true or not. I have no idea who this person is who's allegedly leaking it or their track record or whatever. I saw some people saying he's 50-50 on stuff, but we're going to get into it and talk about it and see how everybody else feels about this type of announcement and stuff like that, because I feel like that could be something that people kind of maybe talk about it a little bit. But I'm going to give my thoughts on towards the end of the video whether like if this were to happen in a perfect storm type situation, and what I would think of it, and then if it doesn't, what I think of it. So stick around for that for sure. It should be a pretty good video. Hopefully you guys are all doing good. According to this, an acclaimed quote-unquote Xbox game will go multi-platform this year. According to this person, the Nate the Hate podcast, which I had never heard of this before, or maybe I've heard of it like one or other time, but I'm not super familiar. But we'll see what happens. The show did not name which title is allegedly coming to competing platforms, but noted that it was, quote, in the Game of the Year conversation in the year that it was released. In the calendar year of 2024, Microsoft will bring one of their more acclaimed first-party games to a competitor system. The title I'm referring to was met with high critical acclaim. Fans loved it, and it was in the Game of the Year conversation in the year that it released. Nate added that when the announcement comes, I think it'll be met with a lot of excitement because it's a quality game. I think it's a smart move for Microsoft from a business perspective. If you're bringing select games to multi-platform, to Switch and PlayStation, you're doing so because you see the quality of the IP and the franchise, and you want to expand its reach beyond just Xbox. Some fans on social media have speculated the unnamed title could be Tango Gameworks' Hi-Fi Rush, the action game that was shadow dropped this time last year, which received strong critical praise. Microsoft has dabbled in multi-platform releases in the recent past, including ports of the Ori games on Nintendo Switch and continued support for Minecraft on PlayStation and other platforms. It also honored multi-platform agreements for Bethesda titles Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo and Double Fine Psychonauts 2. However, some games, most notably Starfield, were made exclusive to Xbox consoles after Microsoft acquired their developers. Speaking in 2019, Xbox then first-party studios boss Matt Booty said the platform holder would determine if it made sense to put future games on PlayStation and Nintendo on a per-franchise basis. I think that question is less binary about should it be on Switch, should it be on PlayStation, and more does it make sense for the franchise. In other words, is it kind of a game where it benefit from the network effect on being on a bunch of different platforms, or is it a game where we can best support it by putting resources and making sure that our platform, things like xCloud, Game Pass, and Xbox Live, are really leaning in to support the game. So, again, it's just one of those things that we kind of see happening right now. People jump on it and kind of go, oh, well, it's this or this. More critically acclaimed games. Like, listen, I'm not saying that I buy into what this guy's selling. What I'm kind of saying is, for me personally, let's just take a look at this. And people are going, oh, Hi-Fi Rush, because they're assuming that they're talking about last year. Hi-Fi Rush was a critically acclaimed game in the Game of the Year conversation, I guess, early on. It was anyway, but Hi-Fi Rush is a rhythm game that requires at least 60 frames per second to run. I don't see how they could get that to run on the Switch at 60 frames per second. So let's maybe take a look at the least intrusive option, in my opinion, would be Psychonauts 2 on the Nintendo Switch. You could run that at 30 frames per second, and I think that would be fine. Since that, and that would have the less reaction from the fan base, right? Because what happens is this game was already multi-platform to begin with. So putting that on Switch, I don't think would have any kind of reaction from the fan base at all. Putting something like Hi-Fi Rush elsewhere on like PlayStation or the Switch, I think that starts people to question things. That's a big first-party game. That's not like Ori, which, yeah, I understand they own the Ori IP and the publishing rights, but, you know, it was a small studio that they were letting to put it elsewhere, right? Same thing with that other more recent game where it was like a flip book, no actual gameplay. I forget what it was called, but, yeah, Microsoft owned the IP to that, but it was a situation where it's like a small developer of 10 people and they're trying to expand it, so they let them put the game through a different publisher on PlayStation. So you understand that that's not technically what I'd consider first party, which to me first party is, you know, a studio owned by, you know, the company. So it would have to be a studio owned by Xbox, IP owned by Xbox, right? That'd be first party to me. People try to switch this stuff up, and that never really made much sense to me that people kind of do that. So what would I feel like if it was something big like a Hi-Fi Rush or what have you? I would feel that Microsoft has really sent mixed signals. And again, this is just hypothetical because we don't know, and it's just a rumor. So like I said, everybody should kind of chill out a little bit. But what I would feel is, I would feel like Microsoft really kind of slapped their owners in the face, if this were to be the case with you know, like something like Hi-Fi Rush. I would feel that way for multiple reasons. For one thing is, Phil Spencer literally just came out when the rumors were going, you know, the CFO says this, and this, you know, and, you know, for me personally, I thought that was always kind of nonsense or whatever. You know, the CFO's out there kind of saying this, or, you know, what's going on or that. And, you know, for me personally, I just thought it didn't make a lot of sense to kind of talk about that at the particular time. For one of the main reasons being, you didn't want to kind of get people off of the rails to begin with, right? Like, people already freak out when it comes to Xbox, so you don't want to do that. You already have a platform that people are worried about you going, you know, because there's always rumors that they're going to go third party, or they're going to do this or going to do that. So you have people, regardless of how many people, let's just say for the sake of the argument, 30 million Xbox owners right now, they have an expectation, and Phil Spencer just talked about this expectation, right? He's like, our people that buy into our hardware have an expectation, et cetera, et cetera. This is 100% the case, right? If they're putting their stuff on, you know, competing platforms, right, then let us know at least. I think that's the thing that people should do. You know, let the fans know, because then there's literally no reason to own an Xbox, right? And I stick strongly by that. If you can get all PlayStation and all Xbox exclusives on PlayStation, why the hell would you need an Xbox, right? Yes, I prefer Xbox ecosystem and things like that, but I'm not going to buy two different platforms to play games when I can play them on the one, right? It doesn't make sense to do that. So anytime there's a situation where that kind of comes up, they would totally devalue their platform, and, you know, it would just be, as sad as it would be time to move on from that, you know? I mean, I'm sure one day there might be a situation far off in the future, assuming we're all still here or whatever, and, you know, there is no more consoles per se, and then everything just, you know, I don't think streaming will ever be a thing, so I'm not sure if this will ever be a thing. But, you know, I can imagine if it were all streaming, then everything would be on all streaming devices, you know. So, you know, but again, I think if that, you know, we're talking 50 years down the line, maybe longer before, you know, and again, if streaming can ever be taken seriously. I'm not really sure, but you know, what do you guys think about this? Like, to me, and then I see a lot of Xbox fans jump on the offensive and go, well, if we put this on Switch, then they need to give us Metroid. They're like, buddies, that's not how this works. You know, there's no, oh, if this goes on Switch, then this comes to Xbox. You know, there's nothing like that. So I think any type of those days are long gone. You know, again, I say my advice would be everybody take it easy, chill out, wait for any kind of official announcements, and then react accordingly. You know, like that's the best you can do. It does suck that this stuff always only comes up to Xbox though. So, thanks for watching. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.